Okay, so this is one that a lot of students miss on the exam. They think that just because something is grammatically correct in like every other rule that they've learned about, that this rule doesn't exist, and they would be wrong about that. This is one of the most important rules in grammar, and it's to be concise. So if you have two or more grammatically correct options, like the commas are where they're supposed to be, the verb tense is fine, like it's just that they might be worded differently, a little bit differently, but they're all grammatically correct, or some of them are grammatically correct. The way that you pick what's the best answer is it's always going to be the shortest grammatically correct answer. So whichever one is grammatically correct and the shortest. So a helpful hint is that when you see like repetitive phrasing with like the same verb tense, same punctuation, and they're just like using a bunch of synonyms and stuff, that usually means that you have one of these where it's usually going to be the shortest answer choice, but not always. Also, a lot of students, because your teachers tell you, like, when you're writing essays, make sure you don't use passive voice. Like, they discourage that in school. For the purpose of this exam and the ACT and the SAT, that's not necessarily wrong. Passive voice is grammatically correct. It's just that, like, in academic writing, like your teachers and stuff, they prefer that you don't use passive voice. It's not that it's like wrong for the purposes of the SAT and ACT exam. So the reason that a lot of these all end up being wrong on the exam is because they happen to be longer, so they don't follow the be concise rule, but not always. Sometimes they might be like the only grammatically correct option. So let's go over some examples. So the discovery of DNA, let's see. Okay, so this is supposed to be matching number 1 right here. So we're talking about this portion right here. The discovery of DNA, the blueprint of life, revolutionized the way we think about genetics and had a major impact. So it's a discovery that not only unlocked the secrets of heredity, but also, okay, that's fine. So let's see. This portion right here, let's start by looking at our answer choices. I see like words are repeating, like genetics, perspective, and like different like what do you call them, synonyms, like changed, influenced, impact, like words that are similar in meaning, like incredible, major, dramatically, like those types of words. So I'm seeing like just kind of like a lot of synonyms and stuff, and like similar wording over and over again. So I know that this is probably going to be one of my be concise questions. So I'm going to think, okay, what is the shortest option that I have? It's definitely not going to be A or C as the shortest ones. The shortest options that I should start checking are B and D. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's start with B. The discovery of DNA, the blueprint of life, dramatically changed our perspective on genetics. That's pretty succinct, concise, to the point. Let's check D now. Had a major impact on our understanding of genetics. That's wordier. That's not as to the point. Like, you see how like wordy that is. There's a much like nicer, like more concise way to say it, and that's with B. So that would be the correct answer. So then, oops, I keep going to that. Sorry, guys. So then let's go to number 2. So for number 2, we're doing this part right here. So let's read the whole sentence. It's a discovery that has not only unlocked the secrets of heredity, but also paved the way for numerous and multiple studies in the field of genetics. So, and also right now is a good time to like pause and let you know why in the beginning I said like, hey, read like 2 sentences above and below. Usually like do that on every single one if you can't learn to differentiate problems. But I'm at the point, obviously, like I'm a tutor, so I can differentiate the types of problems that typically you don't have to read 2 above and 2 below for. And be concise falls under one of those categories where you usually don't have to. So let's go back to this. It's a discovery that has not only unlocked the secrets of heredity, but also paved the way for numerous and multiple studies in the field of genetics. So here, look, paved, created, several, multiple, numerous, like you see, it's like repetitive. So it's probably one of the be concise ones. So let's see, we're gonna start with like what's shortest and let's see if it works out. So paved the way for numerous studies. that could work there. We could say it's a discovery that has not only unlocked the secrets of heredity, but also paved the way for numerous studies. Now, one thing that could have automatically eliminated a lot of these answer choices is I could have seen, if I see two words that mean the exact same thing, like numerous and multiple, like that's redundant. We call these redundancy errors, like it's redundant. I don't need to say something twice. I've already said it once. I don't need to say it again. I'm making it longer. I'm making it less concise, which is wrong. So I could have automatically crossed out A for that reason. And for C, it says, had an incredible influence on our perspective of genetics. I'm on the wrong one. It created several opportunities for many research studies. So several opportunities for many research studies, like that's just like repetitive as well. Like several, many, no. Created multiple openings for numerous studies to take place. Multiple openings for numerous studies. Like if there's already numerous studies, there's already like if there's already numerous studies, there's already multiple openings. Like and there's already multiple openings there. Like there's a more succinct way to say that than using like two words that mean the same thing. So usually when you see two words that are synonyms, you can cross out those answer choices. So it wouldn't be those, it would be B. So let's now go to number 3 right here. So in 1953, two brilliant scientists, James Watson and Francis Crick, were the ones who made the discovery of the double helix structure of DNA. So let's see. We have, how is it changing here? So I see there's similar wording, but it looks like there's different verb tenses. So I have to be careful with that, just to make absolutely sure that it's not like also testing me on verb tense. So, it's actually not changing verb tense. I don't know why I was saying that. Went on to discover, were and were, so it's not that like different. Usually when they're testing you on like verb tense, it's going to be like either like very obviously past, very obviously like present, or very obviously future. So this is probably not testing verb tense. I don't know why I was thinking like went was different. Okay, so let's see. We're going to go for the shortest one first because I see lots of similar wording here, like discovery, discovered, discover. Like it's just different forms of that same word. It's just repetitive. So I'm going to start with just discovered. In 1953, two brilliant scientists, James Watson and Francis Crick, discovered the double helix structure of DNA. That works. Super concise. And it works. I don't even have to check the longer versions because anything that's longer, even if it's grammatically correct, is wrong. So now let's go to number 4 right here. So, oh, my OCD is not going to like that. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So number 4, it says this breakthrough came after years of intensive and hard work. So right away, intensive and hard, like if something's hard, it's intensive already. Like that's just like, that's the thing where it's being redundant, where like you're saying the same thing twice. Why are we doing that, you know? So we're going to say that it can't be that, no changed option. And then we're going to now, let me just like make it go down a little. There we go. Okay, now for B, it says laboriously difficult work. Like that's very like wordy. If I wasn't already like gonna try and start with C already, like just seeing that right away, like laboriously difficult work, like labor and work mean the same thing, but it's like laboriously difficult is also like kind of redundant. So this is just like, no. And then hard work is what I would have tried first, but I just like saw that right away. No, I laughed. So I was gonna explain that. So hard work, I mean, this breakthrough came after years of hard work. That's grammatically correct. It's the shortest option there. So we're going to do that one. And then obviously it can't be like intensive laboring effort. Like that's all like, that's super redundant. So it's not going to be that one. So now we're going to do the quiz. Again, if you have this book, I would recommend that you try the quiz on your own before checking it, attempting corrections on your own, and then coming back to this if you need explanations on something you're stuck on. So let's go and do number 3. So right here, basically. She wondered why these butterflies embark on such a perilous journey when they could easily stay in a single place and avoid the hazards of travel. So let's go with the shortest answer first. Let's check it. So stay put. She wondered why these butterflies embark on such a perilous journey when they could easily stay put and avoid the hazards of travel. So that works. Let's pick C. It's the shortest, most concise answer choice. So let's go to the next one here. So number 7, right here, it says 7-7. While others release a pungent chemical that deters would-be attackers. So with this one, what you might want to do, like when it's at the beginning of the sentence, just like read above just in case. Just because a lot of times it might be like a transition one. So I'm going to just do that for good practice here, even though we don't really need to. But a lot of the times it'll be like, sorry, I got a text. It'll be like also testing you on like transitioning from one thought to another. So that's why I'm going to read back for context just for good practice. For instance, when faced with predators like birds or spiders, some monarchs have been observed to descend rapidly to the ground, a tactic that often takes the predator by surprise, while others release a pungent chemical that deters would-be attackers. So like we're saying like basically like another example, like the others do this. So we're going to go with the shortest option first to check it. Others release a pungent chemical that deters would-be attackers. So that works. That's grammatically correct. It's the shortest option. Okay, so now let's go to number 16 right here. So Hemingway has demonstrated that monarch butterflies represent the unique, delicate balance of nature. So the no change option is obviously the shortest option, and that seems to work, but let's just make sure that there's nothing like super important that's added on, or and like I'll take you through why it's not B, C, or D. So it is A. So B says, Hemingway has demonstrated that monarch butterflies represent the unique, delicate balance of nature, which is important given the threats that they face. So if you had already been reading this, you would have already seen that like they're talking about threats right there. This is why I say like I know when I'm doing this that I'm going to look for like similar words or synonyms instead of having to like read the whole sentence before. But you might not. So you might want to like think, okay, I'm just always going to read like 2 above, 2 below just for questions like this, because sometimes it does matter. So like here it says nature, which is important given the threats they face. So threats, they already were talking about the threats, and like it like that's just kind of like redundant, like it's extra wordiness that we don't need. So it's not going to be B. Then C says nature protecting them from the dangers that were just mentioned. Like it's literally saying like we already said this, but we're going to say it again. So no. D, nature, it's quite unbelievable. That's just like adding no value to like it's quite unbelievable. Like no, that's not the shortest way we could say it. That's grammatically correct. It would be 16. 16 would be A, no change.